I'm going to be breaking down the UFC Fight Night Grasso vs Shevchenko 2 card, also known as the Noche UFC card. So starting off with the first fight of the night, we have Josephine Knutson versus Marnik Man. I'm going to go with Josephine Knutson here. You know, she's a good prospect, looked good in that Contender Series fight. Didn't fight the smartest fight. Well, I mean, she clearly won her fight, but she had a lot of opportunities to get a finish, which she didn't go for. But these sort of things, you know, they're expected in women's MMA. But yeah, I'll go with Josephine against the sort-off savage. Yeah, like she had a Marnik Man went to a split decision with a 1-1 opponent. You know, and she hasn't really beat very good competition. Got head kicked by Bruna Brazil, which isn't a bad loss, but still. But yeah, I like Josephine to get this one done. And then moving up the card, we have Charlie Campbell versus Alex Reyes. You know, Alex Reyes, brother of Dominic Reyes, got knocked out by Mike Perry in his last fight, which was almost 6 years ago. Fucking hell, he's had a fucking long layoff. He was meant to fight Trevor Peek earlier this year, but he pulled out, and then he was also originally meant to fight Natan Levy, but Levy pulled out because of medical issues, and now Charlie Campbell steps in. You know, Charlie Campbell is a pretty good prospect. He got knocked out by Chris Duncan on the Dana White Contender Series, but he was like another shot away from winning that. Like, he dropped Duncan like twice, I think. Like, he was just about to put Duncan out, and then Duncan just caught him with the fucking haymaker of all haymakers, and yeah, got the knockout. But yeah, he's a good fighter, Charlie Campbell. You know, hasn't beat the best level of competition, but you know, he's beat alright guys. You know, 6-2, 2-0, 3-1 in his third fight. So he's not like lost. He hasn't beat horrible competition, 9-5 guy. But I like Charlie Campbell to get this one done against Alex Reyes. Who knows what Alex Reyes is going to show up? 36 years old at lightweight. You know, he obviously fought Mike Perry at welterweight as well. So who knows how the weight cut's going to be for him. He was undersized in that fight, though. He weighed in 167 against Mike Perry, but you know, took a brutal KO from Mike Perry. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with this fight. But I'm gonna go with Charlie Campbell. I just think there'll be a lot of ring rust for Alex Reyes. You know, such a long layoff. I think Charlie Campbell's gonna catch him. And then moving up the card, we have Tracy Cortez versus Jazundavicius. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm gonna take Jasmine J- J- Jasmine Jaduda. I just said it, man. I just said it. I'm gonna go with Jasmine Jazuda Vicious. There we go. Finally got that fucking one. All these fucking like Eastern European last names, and I think I know she's from Canada, but I think her last name's of like Latvian or some Baltic nation origin. I just can't pronounce them, but you know, she beat Miranda Maverick, which is a pretty good win. You know, Miranda Maverick came back after her last fight and just completely dominated Priscilla Cachoeira. So, you know, and I know Tracy Cortez is 10-1 and does have a win over Erin Blanchfield, but that win is like very controversial. And yeah, I just think I think she's gonna win this. I don't know. I just have a good feeling about this. I think Jasmine's actually a really good fighter. Obviously, she lost to Natalia Silva, but Natalia Silva is a really good prospect in her own right. So you like Jasmine to get this one done, but like I say, I know nothing about women's MMA. I'll probably get this one wrong. And then moving up the card, we have Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lareida. Daniel Lareida is how many losses now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 losses. He has 4 losses in the UFC. Fucking hell, man. 4 fucking losses. That's insane, to be honest. But he's been re-signed to the UFC. He's a fun fighter, really fun fighter. He's always so close to winning all of his fights. Like, he's always on the verge of winning, and then he just makes some, you know, big mistake or gasses out, and then just gets finished. Like, he almost knocked out CJ Vergara He dropped Victor Romano, which is like he's a pretty good fighter. He's on a good run at the moment. Lost to Tim Elliott, but it's Tim Elliott. Can't really hold that against him. Francisco Figueiredo wasn't really in that fight, and then I think the Jeff Molina fight was just a like back and forth war, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so I don't know. It's weird, like this guy's career, but I'm gonna go with Edgar Chairez. You know, he dropped Tatsuya Taira. He dropped Clayton Carpenter, both really good fighters, and he's just fucking massive. I said this when Tatsuya Taira versus Edgar Chairez was first booked. I said that I didn't say this on video, but I said this on Twitter that Edgar Chairez is like a massive flyweight, so he could probably give Tatsuro some problems. And he did drop Taizuro, but his grappling defense, I knew that was the one flaw he had. And yeah, I picked Taira in that fight, but I knew that his size would give him some problems, and he's got big power. And his cardio is not too bad, better than Lareda's, I reckon. So I reckon Edgar Chairez is going to KO Lareda. I think Lareda will have some success, but then he'll just he'll have an adrenaline dump and just gas like he normally does. But it should be a fun fight for as long as it lasts. And then moving up, we have a fight that was originally Chris Curtis versus Anthony Hernandez that is now Roman Kopylov versus Josh Fremd. So I'm going to be going with Roman Kopylov here. I think this guy's made a lot of improvements since that Carl Roberson loss and even that Albert Duraev loss, which he looked alright in that fight. He dropped Duraev and almost finished him, but he's on a good run at the moment. Got some real nasty KOs, has really good striking. His takedown defense is looking better than ever. And I just don't rate Josh Fremd that well, hey. Like, he beat Jamie Pickett, but I don't think Jamie Pickett's like a really good fighter. And then besides that, he beat Cedric Dumas, who I don't know. It's hard to rate Dumas as well because you know he didn't really look very good against Cody Brundage, even though he won. Cody Brundage sort of just gave him that win by total control. And then you know Josh Fremd got brutalized with a guillotine by Trayshawn Gore. So you know, and Trayshawn Gore was on a pretty bad losing streak at the time. So you know, I not just basing it on that. I think Roman Kopylov's just a lot much better fighter than Josh Fremd. Josh Fremd has good cardio, but you know, he's also taking this on pretty short notice, and he missed weight against Jamie Pickett, so this weight cut's probably going to be pretty bad for him because this is still a middleweight fight. So he's probably going to be really depleted, and I don't think he has the best chin. I know he's been knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez, which you know nothing bad with getting chinned by Rodriguez, but still he has shown that he can be knocked out. And yeah, I think Roman Kopylov has this. I'm not going to say in the bag. I don't know, just because Roman Kopylov has been shown to lose to grapplers, but I do think he will win this fight. But you never know with middleweight. Middleweight's just a fucking unpredictable division to predict. But I'm gonna still go with Roman Kopylov here, and I think he's gonna get this one done by KO in the second round. Never a first round with Roman Kopylov. He always gets it done in the second. This is what I said about Roman Kopylov when he fought Ribeiro. You never bet on this guy in the first round. As soon as it hits the second round, he hits his flow state and just fucking KOs people out of nowhere. It's weird. It's actually honestly really crazy. Like as soon as the fight goes to the second round, this guy goes fucking demon mode. Then we have Labita Gomez Gondides. Loopy. We have Loopy versus Elise Reed. I'm gonna go with Lupita Godinez here. I really like her as a fighter. She's one of my favorite women fighters. Has pretty good boxing, good grappling, and I think she's just better than Elise Reed everywhere. Uh, yeah, not really much else to say here. She's on a good run. Had a competitive fight with Angela Hill that she arguably could have won, but she didn't. She didn't win. But yeah, I just think she'll get this one done. Elise Reed got subbed by Luma Lukboom, who is literally a pure Muay Thai fighter. So you know her grappling defense isn't the best. So I could honestly just see Labita going out there and just mauling her on the ground. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I know a lot of her fights are decision wins, but she does have a really good ground game, so maybe not even if she finishes her, I think she can just win with ground control. Because they seem to, in fights like this, it seems like in women's fights, it seems like they rely more on ground control because they're not really doing too much damage in these fights. So I think Lupita gets this one done. Then moving on up the card to the first fight on the main card, we got Fernando Padilla versus Kyle Nelson. I'm going to be going with Fernando Padilla here. Kyle Nelson looked good in his last fight, but I don't really rate Blake Builder too highly. He's pretty hittable, and it's just a terrible performance from Blake Builder anyway. But I don't rate Blake Builder too highly. Like, he beat Shane Young. I don't really rate a win over Shane Young too highly. But yeah, Kyle Nelson's shown to have some chin problems in this fight. Got knocked out by Diego Ferreira. Got knocked out by Billy Quarantillo. And I think Fernando Padilla is going to KO him too. You know, he had that win over Julian Erosa, which was a bit controversial. I thought it was a bit of an early stoppage. They could have let that fight go on a bit longer, but they didn't. It wasn't like a horrible stoppage, but you know, it could have been better. But yeah, this guy's just got really good power. This Padilla guy, he gets most of his fights done by stoppage, and I think he will KO Kyle Nelson. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty confident on this. I don't rate Kyle Nelson's I don't rate his durability, and I think Fernando Padilla can find the KO in this fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow loses. I don't rate him too highly. I know he's got that win over Erosa, but Erosa is like one of those weird fighters where he'll beat the good guys and then lose to the lesser guys. So you can't really rate that win too highly because Fernando Padilla winning that might just mean he's bad. You know, he honestly, Julian Erosa is like the Michael Johnson of featherweight. But anyway, moving up the card now, we've got Daniel Zellhuber versus Christo Jugiagos. It's so weird actually saying these names out loud. I'm gonna go with Daniel Zellhuber here. I think he's got this one. I know he lost to Trey Ogden, but I'm gonna say that was due to debut jitters because he looked really good against Lando Venata, and I rate Lando Venata higher than Christos. I know Christos had a upset win against Ricky Glenn, but Ricky Glenn literally looked fucking geriatric in that fight. He looked fucking senile in that fight. He was moving so slow, looked like an old man in there. It was so weird. Because, fucking Ricky Glenn arguably beat Grant Dawson, who's on the fucking run of a lifetime, just beat Demiris Magulov. Fucking beating everybody in the fucking back position, literally just fucking beating everybody right now. But somehow, this Grant Dawson almost fucking loses to Ricky Glenn. But yeah, I think Daniel Zellhuber will get this one done. Christos, he's taken a lot of damage. Got knocked out by Arman Tsazukian, and Tsazukian's not really known for his striking. We've seen his striking is not really the best. Like, he's got good grappling, he's a good prospect, but his striking is not really the best. But he managed to get a knockout against Christos. And then, I don't know, Christos just seems to have taken a lot of damage in his career, and I think Daniel Zellhuber can get the TKO in this fight. And I think he'll get it done in the second round. I think we get a second round Daniel Zellhuber TKO, probably due to knees in the clinch. He's got really good knees. And then moving up, we have the return of Raul Rosas Jr. versus Terrence Mitchell. Terrence Mitchell got brought in to fight Cameron Simon, coming out of Alaska Combat Entertainment, and Alaska FC, which is known for the can crushing. He also got KO'd in 30 seconds by Kakara France on the Ultimate Fighter. Everyone's seen the highlight of that. I think this is a gimme for Raul Rosas Jr. I think he's going to get an early first round submission here. Terrence Mitchell is a good wrestler, but I just think Raul Rosas can reverse and probably get his back and then just rear naked choke probably in this fight. Yeah, I don't think Terrence Mitchell is like a good fighter. I think he got lucky to get a short notice opportunity. Not hating on the guy, but I can't say he's a bad fighter, but he hasn't beat a good level of competition. Like the Alaska MMA scene just isn't, it's not very crash hot. Like there's just a lot of can crushing in there over there. Like if you go through any guy who's fought in the Alaska FC promotions or any of them Alaskan promotions, and you go on a deep dive through their opponents' records and their opponents' record, you'll just see it's a long line of can crushing. So yeah, so I'm gonna go with Raul Rosas here. Then we have the co-main event. We got the Trailblazer Kevin Holland versus Jack Della Maddalena. I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena here. And yeah, I'm pretty confident in this, to be honest. I know, and I think he's also an underdog in this fight. He was last time I checked. Recency bias is insane, man. Kevin Holland's really good. Like, he's a good fighter. But I don't think people are, like, picking because of that uh, fight that Jack Della Maddalena had against Basil Hafez on short notice. Basil Hafez is literally like he would probably take down Kevin Holland. I know Kevin Holland like stuffed takedowns from Michael Chiesa, but Chiesa isn't the best grappler. I know he also he gets subbed every fight. I actually picked Kevin Holland to sub him. Like Chiesa was coming off a long layoff. He's a lot older and he has no striking at all. So it's not like Holland had nothing to worry about except for the takedowns against Chiesa, and he just fucking destroyed Chiesa, which was a good win. But I think Chiesa's actually passed a little bit. And I was going to say, I think Basil Hafez is like a better grappler than Michael Chiesa. Not that the fight really matters too much because Basil Hafez and Kevin Holland couldn't be any more different. Basil Hafez, very durable, good wrestler, out grappled Jeremiah Wells. Got a draw, but he should have arguably won that fight against Jeremiah Wells. Like, this guy's fucking strong. He could probably take down Kevin Holland. So I don't know why people are basing their prediction on this fight, on that Basil Hafez fight. Jack Della Maddalena did show some low fight IQ in that fight, though, going for them guillotines, which really did annoy me. That the guy cut weight back-to-back weeks. I'm sure his brain wasn't hydrated enough or something. But yeah, I think Jack Della Maddalena is going to win this fight. I think Kevin Holland is like a less technical, more powerful, more durable version of Randy Brown. I think Jack Della Maddalena can get him against the fence. I think it'll be a tougher fight than the Randy Brown fight, but I think eventually, probably in the second round, I think Jack Della Maddalena will find his timing, mix up the body shots, mix up to the head, and I think he'll actually get Kevin Holland out of there with a body shot. Kevin Holland's good though, got a longer reach, powerful guy, but I think in that Wonderboy fight, Kevin Holland did show he didn't take them body shots too well against Wonderboy. He did take a lot of damage in that fight as well, but like he ate so many big body kicks and he was really hurt. He shot on Wonderboy at one point because he was hurt from the body shots, and I think Jack Della Maddalena just has a different level of power compared to a Wonderboy, and I think if he gets in against the fence, he's gonna land a big powerful body shot, and I think he's gonna get Kevin Holland out of there. But it's a competitive fight. It's a fun fight. It's gonna be a good one. But yeah, I reckon Jack Della Maddalena is a really good underdog in this fight. Like I know a lot of people are picking Kevin Holland because of the Basil Lefez fight, but you got to think logically. Like there's a big difference between Basil Lefez and Kevin Holland. Like I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, Kevin Holland wrestles in this one. He's got this one in the bag." Jack Della Maddalena like stuffed almost every takedown except for the first one, and then he went for all them guillotines against Basil Lefez. He has good takedown defense. He has good get-ups too. He gets up from all these positions. And, I don't rate Kevin Holland wrestle fucking John Phillips because John Phillips gets wrestle fucked by everybody. Anybody can take down John Phillips. So, I don't rate Kevin Holland's wrestling too highly just because he out-wrestled John Phillips. I think he took down Brendan Allen as well, but Brendan Allen doesn't really have the best takedown defense either. And their middleweights, the welterweights are much more skilled fighters than the middleweights, in my opinion. So yeah, I think Jack Della Maddalena is just going to put a striking boxing masterclass on Kevin Holland, but it will be fun. It will be competitive. Kevin Holland's always in fights. He's a fucking dog in there. I love both of these guys. I hate that one of them has to lose, but yeah, I just think Jack Della Maddalena is going to touch him up a little bit, and then I think he gets him out of there with a body shot. And yeah, hopefully people start putting some respect on his name again, because the reaction to that Basil Lopez fight was insane. Like, he took it on short notice, didn't even have to take that fight after already cutting to welterweight back-to-back weeks, and he's a big guy, so that weight cut would have been hell. I know he said that the weight cut had nothing to do with it, but he's a humble guy. He's not going to make excuses like that, but you could tell that wasn't the same Jack Della Molina. But still, regardless, it should be a fun fight. And yeah, moving on to the main event, we got Alexa Grasso, the champion, versus Valentina Shevchenko. I'm gonna take. I think Alexa Grasso gets this one done again. I know. Let's see. What are people picking? I feel like most people are probably going to pick Shevchenko. So it's close though. I just think what we've seen from Grasso is she's the better striker than Shevchenko. She was boxing her up on the feet in the first fight, and she won with she got the back and got the submission. I don't think she's going to get a submission again, but I think she might just box Valentina Shevchenko up in this fight. She was looking really good with the boxing, and then she got the submission in the last fight. And the fact she was showing she was a better striker than Valentina, and it went 4 rounds, and it was a competitive fight the whole time. She's always got that in play that she could just get a rear naked choke or get some sort of submission, or she could just go in there and put on a boxing masterclass. And she's going to be so confident now that she's actually knows that she can get it done. She probably had a lot of doubts in that first fight against Valentina. She probably didn't believe that she could win until she actually did it. And now she's going to have so much more confidence in that fight. She won't be gun shy or anything in that fight. Not saying she was in the first one, but she'll be super confident going in there. And Valentina, that's a big hit to Valentina after losing. After being on such a dominant run, that hurts a champion's pride. But it's hard for fighters to come back from something like that, especially the way she got rear naked choked. Like, that was a fucking brutal rear naked choke from Grasso. Like, her whole face was red afterwards. But yeah, I really like Alexa Grasso in this fight, and I think she'll get it done and she'll retain the belt. And then, yeah, fuck, who knows who's next? It's either Blanchfield or it's Manon Fiorot. Yeah, I got that. I nailed that one. But yeah, thanks for watching my UFC Fight Night Grasso vs Shevchenko prediction video. And like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.